We had an incident on Christmas Eve once. I went on board a ship that had come in from Korea with steel pipes, and a Danish captain. So after we'd done all our bits and bobs, he just said, would I sit and chat to him? And it turned out that the captain and the chief officer had been dismissed in the load port, and he'd been put on board with a crew of Koreans, a non-English speaking crew. So all he wanted to speak, even though I couldn't speak Danish, he wanted to speak to us in English, have a cup of coffee, just have a chat, bit of welfare really. So when I went back home and I told my wife what had gone on, we decided to, all the grandparents' presents that you get, Lynx Africa and that type of thing. So we wrapped him up some presents, and I went back down the next day and went to see him, and we just gave him some Christmas presents. Yeah. So just little things like that you kind of.
And recently we've embarked on a sort of a giving spell,
absolutely,
haven't
yes.
we?
Yeah,
with
we
the
have,
Seafarers mission and Drax as well.
Yeah.
And just taking those presents and handing them over to the crew, you see what it means to them.
Absolutely,
like,
the
what
smiles,
we take for granted in soap, toothpaste, general
just
hygiene
hats,
products or whatever, and a woolly hat, pair of gloves.
But it could have been anything in those presents.
Yeah,
to the seafarers that we went on board just recently. It could be anything. It's the fact that you were on board and you were. You cared for them.
Yeah,
basically.
Show a bit of appreciation.
A bit of appreciation.
Being away from your family.
Yeah, and especially at special times like Christmas. So it's something that we enjoy doing, and especially with Drax and the other partners that are involved with that. We wrap the presents. We have a day off for our volunteer day, and we do that.
Got a bacon bun.
We've got a bacon bun, hot chocolate. So
couple,
I was happy.
I think you had,
probably. Yeah. Got to keep you going. So it's good, and little things like that have always meant the world to me. Is on the crew side of things, the welfare, looking after them, going in to see the Seamen's Mission as well. Father Cullen when he was around, and just individuals like that, that do care for these people and go out of their way to help. Because it's not all. I was going to say it's not all plain sailing. No. To pardon the pun. They do have their issues of being away from home. And long sea voyages.
Yeah, and I think like in this day and age with the mental health, I know it's bandied around a bit, but we've seen it more recently with crew suffering.
Absolutely.
With that side.
Yeah, we had a stowaway in Hull when I joined Dan Shipping. It was only a young, I would say, young boy, probably in late teens. He had nothing, so he was granted leave to come ashore. So we put him in a hotel, but he literally had nothing whatsoever. So we whipped round, and I got some of my kids' stuff that they didn't need anymore, sports shirts and things like this, and we put him a care package together. And one of the ladies in the hotel said she went up to his room to make sure he's all right, and he'd put all the shirts out, and he couldn't believe what he'd got.
Yeah.
Someone had taken
what we take for granted
again. Yeah. So little things, and then he was repatriated back home to where, the country he came from. I can't remember where it was now, but so little things.
So
I've never had the worry of never wanting not to do the job.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily, it was not wanting to do the job. I would say for me, it was a question of, could I do the job?
Yeah.
A bit of self-doubt maybe. And I was 19, I think, at the time. So, a bit like you get offered a company car, minimum wage as it was, and I always say, like, when we're recruiting, it is a case of you sell your soul a little bit.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely. But then I wouldn't have had the 40 plus years in the business if I didn't want to do it. It's something that's just ingrained. It's in your blood. It stays there. For forever, really. I'll always have an interest in it, always. But it's the little things. Obviously we all need the business coming in, but it is looking after the ships, the customers, especially the receivers, the shippers, the charterers, and everybody else that we get involved in. And you make lifelong friends. You really do. You know, some of the people I met at Total, I'm still in touch with. So it's really, really good.
And it is about going that extra,
Yeah,
isn't
absolutely.
it?
Yeah,
You know, to make a long-lasting career out of it. I mean,
yes, yeah.
I'm still only young compared to you, my friend, but
I
you
don't
know,
know
it's
what. You're not that young.
I am.
Yeah, yeah. Are
Yeah,
you sure?
yeah. I'm only 40, mate.
40. Okay.